This week on ANN, ADRA fights COVID-19 in Mozambique.
Pacific Adventist University promotes health awareness in the surrounding community.
And the Adventist Church in Anguilla starts to rebuild after Hurricane Irma.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, as Mozambique mourns hundreds of recent deaths from COVID 19, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA, is helping 1,000 of the country's most vulnerable families protect themselves against the virus and maintain their livelihoods despite pandemic disruptions.
Mozambique has experienced its worst spike in coronavirus cases and deaths this summer, according to the World Health Organization. With less than 5% of people fully vaccinated against COVID 19, the population remains susceptible to additional waves of infection.
To respond to the crisis, ADRA will distribute hygiene kits containing masks, hand sanitizers, and liquid soap to vulnerable families and individuals in the southern part of the country.
Each kit includes a bucket with a tap to create a simple hand washing station. Trained ADRA volunteers, including the health ministries directors of local Seventh-day Adventist churches, will share accurate information about basic sanitation practices and COVID 19 prevention.
In the Wenang District, the project will target 500 vendors who are at high risk of contracting COVID 19 as they interact with the public. In the Matutin District, ADRA will assist 500 of the most vulnerable households, especially those headed by women or children.
ADRA support goes well beyond meeting the immediate need for better sanitation. ADRA will help vendors find alternative ways of doing business to minimize their exposure to COVID 19, such as operating from home rather than in public markets, and train them in new ways of generating income, especially mask making.
To improve nutrition for the 500 vulnerable households, ADRA will help them establish home gardens using climate smart agriculture. The families will receive startup vegetable seed kits and learn to grow crops that are resilient to droughts and provide high nutritional value with minimum time and labor requirements.
ADRA is also launching a public information campaign in the Boan and Matutuin districts to educate the district's 3 million citizens on the best ways to protect themselves against COVID 19.
ADRA has been working throughout the pandemic to protect communities in Mozambique from COVID 19. From June to September 2020, ADRA distributed hygiene kits to 620 households in peri urban areas of Mozambique's capital, Maputo.
For more information on how ADRA is working through the COVID 19 pandemic and around the world, visit adra.org.
The Health and Wellness Department of Koyari Park English Church on the Pacific Adventist University campus has been actively driving the health message to its church membership and the surrounding community. A recent week of health emphasis featured lectures presented by Adventist medical doctor Robert Jones and several other wellness activities, such as medical checks for vendors and customers at the famous PAU Sunday Market. For PAU faculty and students, medical checks and counseling were conducted on the grounds of the church. Walking groups and cooking demonstrations were also organized, and health education awareness flyers were given away. To close the week, the health and wellness team traveled more than 62 miles up the eastern seaboard of Central Province, taking the message to Irupara village. The team of around 60 people, formed by nurses, health counselors, a medical doctor, and other volunteers, spent an entire day at the village, where people had their blood sugar levels and blood pressure tested for possible signs of hypertension and diabetes. The team also offered individualized counseling based on each participant's personal health data. After a follow up trip in September to evaluate the impact, the team aims to expand future programs to city and rural communities in Port Moresby.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church in the Wenang District of Manado, Indonesia, is starting a new initiative called Drop and Grab. The Wenang Church is located near a public transportation hub where people come and go. The COVID 19 pandemic has caused people in the community to lose their jobs and the ability to have a decent meal every day. Wenang church members aim to minister to this community by providing free lunch packs every Friday. Members visit the church to drop food items they want to share, and the church makes these food items available for grabs to the public. Around 70 to 80 individuals, mostly public transportation drivers, passengers, and store owners, flock to the church every Friday to receive their free meals. The number is expected to grow as word about the free meals is passed around. Leader of the Wenang Adventist Church, Peter Tappy, says, "The people started to acknowledge our church in the neighborhood. Some of the people who are not aware of the existence of the church became curious and interested. The church is not just a building, but the people inside are doing something good, driven by compassion towards their neighbors." The idea of drop and grab is not only to provide food, but to extend a ray of sunshine to everyone who receives a free meal, sharing happiness and positivity with the community.
Seventh-day Adventist leaders and church members on the island of Anguilla took part in a recent groundbreaking ceremony that will see a larger, more modern, and inclusive worship center. This new building will replace the oldest church structure on the island.
The Long Bay Church was destroyed by Hurricane Irma in September 2017, scattering dozens of members to worship in different smaller locations.
Members are eager to move into the new construction phase of the new facility, says Lester Jules, pastor of the 77-member Long Bay congregation. Built in 1952, the church building seated 150, but plans are for a larger facility that can house 250.
Government officials joined church members during the August 15 event and encouraged them to continue raising a church structure to bless others.
In addition to ample parking, sufficient seating for island events, and a basement slated for community activities, the new complex will prioritize accommodations for individuals with physical challenges as the congregation strives for a more inclusive worship environment.
For the last 4 years, since the hurricane destroyed the church, members have been meeting at smaller locations and currently have been meeting in a restaurant belonging to a church member.
North Caribbean Conference Treasurer Sanida Mackenzie demonstrated the conference's support for the project with a monetary contribution from the conference saying, "Although Hurricane Irma shook the foundations of the church, the members fought difficult challenges together, and we thank God that, despite the devastation, Long Bay continues to play its part in fulfilling the mission in Manila."
With pledges, church members expect the church building to be completed by 2025.
Coming up, a colporteur from Brazil dedicates his life to minister to families from remote areas.
We'll be right back after the break.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system: the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the seventh-day Sabbath. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
When I first felt called to be a minister, I didn't want to be a typical pastor with a suit and a tie. One of the things I appreciated most about Christ was his ability to defy convention. Once, when I moved away from a place where I was pastoring, one of my friends said, "We're going to miss you. You're so unusual." I take that as a compliment. I'm someone who likes a challenge. I love to test my limits. I've been running for more than 35 years, most days of the week. I love to run, especially in nature. It's time alone with God where I can recharge. I run first thing in the morning so I can prepare emotionally and spiritually for whatever I might experience that day. I find my greatest fulfillment in relating to people who aren't Adventist or even Christian. We have to meet people where they are. That's what Jesus did, and it's still our responsibility today. I have friends who are Christians and atheists, gay and straight, old and young, of all races and ethnicities. I'm a biker, a runner, and a pastor. I'm extremely blessed. My name is Stephen Chavez, and this is my whole life.
Welcome back.
In the interior of Acre, Colporteur Jenison Mota dedicates his life to bringing the light of the gospel to isolated communities through the ministry of the printed page. This is a story where love for God, people, and mission transforms realities.
The South American Division sent this report.
Eu moro no município de Rodrigues Alves. Eu trabalho de moto. E também de barco. E chega a determinados lugares que é preciso ir a pé. Eu sou adventista há 5 anos. E eu conheci o Ministério da Comportagem em um retiro espiritual aqui em Rodrigues Alves. E o pastor Gessé foi lá. O pastor Gessé e sua esposa e seu assistente, e lá ele falou a respeito da comportagem. Estava todo mundo reunido lá. E ali quando ele falou da comportagem para mim, parece assim que aconteceu algo comigo, uma coisa diferente. Eu tive o mesmo sentimento de que quando eu vi a minha esposa a primeira vez. E eu senti assim, alguém me chamando, alguém dizendo que essa mensagem é para você. E eu estava até sentado ao lado da minha esposa. Aí eu disse para minha esposa, Gleice, eu tenho coragem de ser um comportor.
Eu fiquei assim, digo, se tu tem coragem, eu fui a primeira a puxar para trás, né? Que eu digo, acho que esse negócio de comportagem, vender livro, é uma coisa assim que ninguém nem imaginava que ia acontecer e ia dar certo.
Daí se passou-se dias e eu fazia carvão, eu trabalhava com carvão.
Quando a gente trabalhava no carvão era muito difícil, era eu e ele, as crianças.
E lá eu comecei a orar a Deus, perguntando ao Senhor se era Ele que estava me chamando para ser um comportor.
Um dia que ele disse que ia vender o forno para ir para a comportagem, eu puxei para trás de novo. Disse que, nesse como é que nós vamos viver, isso não vai dar certo.
Eu disse para ela, mas o Senhor é dono do ouro e da prata. Ele vai nos sustentar. Ele vai nos sustentar. Se a obra é dele, se é Ele que está me chamando, ele vai nos sustentar. Quando eu comecei a comportar, sempre eu tive medo de ofertar para pessoas com mais conhecimento do que eu. E um dia eu estava passando na frente da casa da diretora da escola, me deu vontade de voltar. E foi ali que eu vendi a minha primeira coleção e ela aceitou estudar a Bíblia e se decidiu pelo batismo.
Quando o irmão Juneisso chegou aqui, me ofereceu material e eu comprei, eu senti que essa solicitação dele do estudo para mim veio do Senhor mesmo, veio de Deus, né? Porque Deus viu que eu estava necessitando. Eu sinto que eu vou conseguir compreender, conhecer a verdade e vou me batizar.
Antes ele passava 2, 3 dias fora de casa, né? Bebendo cachaça com os amigos dele, nas coisas do mundo. E hoje ele vive mais no trabalho, né? Da comportagem, trabalhando.
A realidade aqui no nosso distrito é bem desafiadora. A geografia do distrito é muito complicada, é muito extensa. Temos que andar de moto, temos que andar de barco. Algumas comunidades nós conseguimos ir de carro.
Eu nunca, no período de comportagem, eu nunca fiz uma venda na maquininha, só à vista ou no pedido. E quando eu chego em uma casa, na comunidade isolada, na maioria das vezes eles não têm dinheiro. E eu vendo a troco de produto, frutas, galinha muitas vezes, farinha. E levo para a cidade, vendo e tiro o dinheiro no valor do material.
E quando nós temos pessoas assim que nos apoiam no ministério, como é o caso do Juneisso, isso alivia muito o trabalho e nos ajuda muito.
Nesses meus 3 anos de comportor, já levei 16 pessoas ao batismo e tem 14 pessoas preparadas para se batizar.
Desde quando eu cheguei aqui no distrito, tive o privilégio de batizar várias pessoas que foram foram levadas, tomaram a decisão através da influência direta do trabalho do Junêncio aqui.
O Junêncio é um exemplo na comunidade, porque assim, do que ele viveu para que hoje, da forma que ele vive, ele é um exemplo, porque nem todo mundo tem a coragem e a garra que ele tem. Pelo exemplo do Junêncio e a importância que tem a comportagem, e eu vejo que muitas pessoas precisam ser alcançadas, aonde o pastor não ir, o comportor pode ir. É por isso que hoje eu decidi a ser o comportor.
É muito interessante assim o ministério do nosso comportor Junêncio. A maneira como ele trabalha, a maneira como ele inspira a vida das pessoas. Ele vai de barco, né? Ele pega o barquinho que ele tem, ele sobe rio acima e ele chega em algumas comunidades. E ali ele faz amizade com alguns jovens, com essas famílias. Ele oferece um estudo bíblico, ele vende os seus manuais, ele fala sobre a comportagem para esses jovens e muitos deles já estão hoje aqui com a gente também na comportagem, como é o caso do Cássio e também do Mateus.
E eu estava na roça, então se eu vinha saindo, no momento que eu vinha saindo ele ia chegando. Então se ele parou a moto e nós começamos a conversar. Ele me falando sobre a comportagem, sobre como é que era. Então, se aí eu fui.
E daí quando ele mostrou a vida de Jesus, eu fiquei mais impactado. Eu disse, cara, esse é o trabalho, não é de saúde, mas se envolvendo com Deus. E daí a gente conversou, mais Junêncio, a gente conversou com a minha família, através desse manual, através como Deus agia na nossa vida. E daí realmente eu analisei minha vida, eu digo, esse é o caminho que eu quero seguir, esse é o caminho que Deus vai me levar além.
A comportagem mudou a nossa vida, né? O jeito de educar os nossos filhos, o jeito de nós se relacionar, eu e meu esposo, de ter contato com as pessoas.
Nós fomos escolhidos por Deus para fazer esse trabalho. Eu não vejo outro trabalho a fazer nos dias que nós estamos vivendo, a não ser pregar o evangelho para as famílias.
Coming up, David Trim is here for This Week in Adventist History.
But up next, Adventist Mission shares the story of an urban center of influence in Hanoi, Vietnam.
Hi, VL! How are you? Are you okay? Dear VL, I can't even remember how long we've been staying at home now because of this virus. For now, it's just nice to hear your voice and see your face. Nothing beats playing outside in the dirt though. Which reminds me, are your hands clean? Yes! Mommy and Daddy says not a lot of kids get COVID-19, but it's always nice to be extra safe. We should wash our hands before picking our nose. Washing our hands protects us, but it also keeps us from spreading the virus in case we touch something dirty. Let's always be clean and safe, okay? Love, Joey.
Welcome back.
With a population of 9 million living in Hanoi, Vietnam, there is only a small number of Adventists. Yet this is an opportunity for the church to reach more people for Christ.
The Adventists here constructed a 7-story building as an urban center of influence in Hanoi to meet the needs of the local community.
Adventist Mission has more.
Vietnam is one of the most visited countries for tourism in Southeast Asia. It offers so many exciting things for its visitors, from the breathtaking vistas of Halong Bay to promising business opportunities in the city. Hanoi is the place to be for tourists and locals alike. With a population of 9 million living in the city, there is only a small number of Adventists. Yet this is an opportunity for the church to reach more people for Christ. The Adventists here constructed a 7-story building as an urban center of influence in Hanoi to meet the needs of the local community.
On our first floor, we have a bookstore that is open to the community where people can come in and purchase books that can help them to grow in their walk with the Lord. We have English language school that we are able to build relationships with individuals. We are reaching out to the community by ministering to children that are needing help with their education. The church meets here in the building on a regular basis.
From healthy cooking classes to a running club that meets every Sunday morning, they have a lot of fun with their community. The center's activities have allowed them to build strong partnerships and even friendships with government officials.
An opportunity has arisen for us to partner with the Religious Affairs Committee of Vietnam, and we are teaching English there in their building to 28 of their staff members, all the way from receptionists, secretaries, to the top of the Religious Affairs Committee.
Through these activities, the center's workers and volunteers hope to be a shining example of Christ's method of ministry. They want to share and introduce Christ's love to everyone. Without this purpose, this building is only a building like any other.
The Center of Influence is just that. It's a place to provide influence, a place that influences the community. It's a place that provides space and opportunity for the church to meet and mingle with people, to build relationships, friendships, to build trust and to win their confidence. And when the opportunity arises, to offer them a relationship with Jesus Christ.
With growing demand for their services, this ministry is also facing some serious challenges.
But the challenges are real. It's a city of 9 million people. The church here in the Hanoi area is small, so we don't have a lot of manpower to draw from in working in the center of influence here. We need volunteers to fulfill the calls that we have out. We need volunteers from the local church to partner with us in the ministry. We have calls out for international volunteers to come. We have not had a lot of response from that yet, and so we're still needing people to come and do ministry here from abroad.
Despite challenges and setbacks, God is still using His workers to bless others. Some of the students in the center's English class have gotten a glimpse of Christ's character through their teachers.
They are all really patient. Yeah, really patient. That's what I cannot see in some other, language center or something.
I feel refreshed because the teacher here, that they is friendly, generous, and they try to close their student here.
To see people come to the language classes and then they start coming to church, and you know that God is at work, that He is doing things. God can work miracles. So we're looking forward to seeing what He has in store for us.
Please pray for this urban center of influence in Vietnam. Pray so that the Lord of the harvest will open hearts and send more laborers to this place. If you feel impressed to serve, visit vividfaith.org to browse open calls from around the world. Please support projects like this through Global Mission.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting adventistmission.org, then click on videos at the top.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to David Treem for a look at Adventist history.
This week, we hear about the start of several Adventist schools and a reminder of the importance of Adventist education.
This week in Adventist history, we focus on schools. On September 6 in 1904, Battle Creek Academy opened the doors of a new building. The academy originated as Battle Creek Industrial Academy in June 1872, when it was the first school sponsored by the Seventh-day Adventist denomination. 2 years later, in 1874, Battle Creek College was founded, and the academy was subsumed within it. the college offering elementary, secondary, and tertiary education. By 1900, however, the atmosphere of Battle Creek was beginning to be marked by conflict, and Ellen White counseled that institutions be moved out of the city. The higher education part of Battle Creek College was moved to Berrien Springs, Michigan, and was renamed Emmanuel Missionary College, today's Andrews University. But the school remained, now under the title of Battle Creek Academy, and work on a new school building dedicated to the academy was begun in 1903. 117 years ago this week, the three-story building opened, beginning a new chapter in the life of historic Battle Creek Academy. That building served until destroyed in a fire in 1945, when a new modern building was constructed, which has been added to over the past 73 years. Battle Creek Academy still exists today, its objective expressed in its long-standing motto, the pursuit of excellence in Christ. You can read more about Battle Creek Academy's long history in the Encyclopedia of Seventh-day Adventists at encyclopedia.adventist.org. Also on September 6, but in 1938, Linwood Adventist Academy, today's Los Angeles Adventist Academy, began operating. There had been other Adventist schools in the city in the preceding decades. Los Angeles Seventh-day Adventist Academy had opened in 1923, and Long Beach Academy, near the city's port, had been established in 1925. In 1937, the Southern California Conference brought together the principals of the two academies and agreed to unite, which happened the following year. In 1993, Linwood Academy moved to the campus of Los Angeles Union Elementary School, and the combined institution was renamed Los Angeles Adventist Academy. It, too, still continues its vital work today. Adventist education needs your support, your prayers, your offerings, but above all, Adventist young people need to attend our schools and colleges in order to be educated for eternity. That was This Week in Adventist History.
Thanks for watching A&M. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Did you know the Adventist Church has a YouTube channel where you can watch A&N Video, A&N In Depth, and plenty of other amazing videos on prophecy, health, and Bible study?
Just go to YouTube and search for the Adventist Church. Click the subscribe button to make sure you're caught up each week.
And remember, leave a comment or a prayer request. We have people who are praying for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15.
The passage says, "But if serving the Lord seems undesirable to you, then choose for yourself this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates or the gods of the Amorites, in whose land you are living. But as for me and my household, we will serve the Lord."
That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit Adventist.news for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.